What discipline helps you do is not need willpower. Humans hate change. Humans are reluctant to change, yet things change all the time. So slowly building in habits is the key to discipline. As long as in the world you start seeing more green than red, you are getting there. All these good choices accumulate, and the body has a memory. It has a memory when it comes to weight. It has a memory when it comes to habits. It has a memory when it comes to exercise. So play the long game and play the cumulative effect of better habits. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Eat, Burn, Sleep podcast. I'm Yalda, Alaoui, your host. I specialize in anti-inflammation lifestyle, and today we're going to be talking about discipline and habit building. I had so many people request this video that I thought I would do it on my podcast to give you a masterclass on discipline from all the years that I have worked in this business and also from my personal experience. You might know about my background or not. I'm going to go over it really quickly. I studied in the French system. I did something called prépa, which is very labor intensive, followed by what they call a grande école. And after that, I did a postgraduate in accounting and finance at the London School of Economics. And I worked on the financial markets, which was a very busy and demanding job. I used to start at 6:15, 6:30 in the morning until 5, 6 p.m. at night. And I'm someone who always cared for being healthy, who always cared for having good habits and also performing at work. I'm now an entrepreneur. I'm one of the first people who launched an anti-inflammatory lifestyle platform, and I have had to do a lot of things at the same time. I was raising my children. I went back to school to study nutrition. I built a business at the same time. And of course, I wanted to keep myself healthy because I suffer from autoimmune issues. And that's what led me to doing what I do now when I discovered that inflammation was actually the cause of my problems. And I created this anti-inflammatory lifestyle that I share with all of you now. So the reason why I'm giving you this background is to explain to you how I've achieved all these things and achieved them effortlessly without feeling too much stress. What helped me is discipline and habit building. So discipline is a state in which you manage to keep up with good habits, whether it is with work or with your health efforts or your home or keeping your friendships going or whatever it is, without feeling too much stress. It shouldn't be too much effort. What discipline helps you do is not need willpower. So let me go over it. The best way to have discipline is to build habits in your life in an incremental manner. I'm someone who's completely against diets because they have been shown to fail and they are extreme. And when humans do extreme things, whether it's extreme exercise or extreme partying or being extremely healthy, that can lead to issues. People who focus too much on food can develop issues like orthorexia. So anything extreme by my book is a no-go. However, weaving in small habits into your life in a structured manner to make them become what is your default mode and your autopilot is the way to success. So the way I do it is the following. I look at my life and generally, if I am on top of everything in my life, everything goes well. What do I mean by that? The first thing is my home environment. Your home needs to be tidy and organized and decluttered. If you live in clutter, in dirt and in mess, there is no way that your head is going to be clear and that you're going to be able to perform as you should optimally with work or with your healthy habits or with your overall happiness. So having a home environment that is comfortable to you. So some people have an organized mess, and that's fine. But something in which, an environment in which you feel good, that when you come home, it is a place where your mind can empty and relax rather than feel overwhelmed because things are not how they should be. That's the first thing. The second thing, to build good habits, is to have a routine. So discipline comes with a set routine, and after that, it becomes second nature. For example, eating your meals every day around the same time. Super important. It is important for your digestive system because your digestive system knows when food is going. We have an internal clock called the circadian rhythm. And if one day your lunch is at 11 a.m. and the next day at 2 p.m. and then back and forth, or dinner one day will be at 6 p.m. and the next day at 11 p.m., your sleep will be affected. So it is really important to set your circadian rhythm so you have good sleep, you have good rest, and your internal clock is working well. Then if you're looking to implement a healthier lifestyle, and let's just pretend and assume you want to implement the Eat, Burn, Sleep lifestyle. As I was saying, it's not a diet, it is a lifestyle. It is not about depriving you, it's about nourishing your body. It is not about perfection, it is about damage limitation, because I'm somebody who loves enjoying life. I love food, I love to have a drink, I love to have fun. So I created this to allow myself to have fun with minimal damage when it comes to health. And actually, when I meet people socially, they often tell me, "Oh my God, but you're actually fun. Like you eat, you drink." And I'm like, yes, this is why I created Eat, Burn, Sleep. It's because when I was really ill with ulcerative colitis, there was very little I could enjoy, very little I could digest without having severe cramps, and I wanted to create a lifestyle that would allow me the odd treat, i.e. on a weekly basis. So let's say you're trying to implement the Eat, Burn, Sleep lifestyle, and you sign up to the platform and it becomes overwhelming. You're like, "Oh my God, I don't know if I can do all of this right now." I had a lady yesterday send me a message actually on social media, and she said to me, "Yalda, I purchased the membership a few years ago, but around that time, I unfortunately lost my mother. I had stress going on at work. I had this and I had that. And adding on following Eat, Burn, Sleep was just too much and I couldn't do it." And she is right. If you're going through a lot, sometimes it can feel completely overwhelming to have yet something else to do, which is to implement this thing and to change all your habits. So my advice is the following. I like to trick my body and my mind into new habits without the body and the mind noticing. So humans hate change. Humans are reluctant to change, yet things change all the time. But whenever there's change, we feel unsafe at a deep core psychological level. So what I like doing is to trick my system that change is not happening and I'm slowly implementing change. So the first thing is to not make a big deal out of it mentally. Don't tell yourself, "Oh my God, I'm starting the Eat, Burn, Sleep lifestyle on Monday and I'm going to be super strict." No, if you're someone who doesn't have the mental capacity and the emotional availability to fully embrace it at once, here is what I suggest. You go on the platform, you get familiar with the food lists. You get familiar with the principles of it, just like you would browse any website. Instead of scrolling on social media in the evening, just spend some time on the platform getting familiar with the principles, which are quite simple. There's food, movement, mental wellness, and all of it is very doable. Next, go for what I call in your life the low-hanging fruit. So go into the red lists and look at the foods that you're happy to let go most days, let's say when you're at work or when you're in your daily routine. There are a lot of things, there are a lot of swaps that for you will not be a big deal, okay? So you go for this low-hanging fruit. Then, let's say you're someone who does not cook or doesn't like to cook or doesn't like to shop for food. You start implementing this lifestyle slowly, but by ordering in restaurant or ordering in. And don't worry that it is perfect. Don't worry if there's a little bit of sugar or a little bit of I don't know what in it that's not on the green food list, as long as the bulk of the ingredients are what the lifestyle suggests. So when you do this, just slowly, without pressuring yourself, you're slowly changing your habits and your body has not realized, because you're still going to restaurants, you're still ordering in, you haven't done a massive food shop when you're someone who doesn't cook. And as far as your brain is concerned, not much has changed, yet you are embracing these new habits. Once they're set in, you start changing your breakfast. 1 meal a day. So either you make it in the morning or you do any of the recipes that you can prep in advance or batch cook, and you slowly change your breakfast. And you wait for a week, 2 weeks, however long it takes. And before you know it, you have a homemade breakfast, and lunch and dinner you're picking from the green food list most of the time, and you're including your weekly treats as per the food system. And slowly, without shocking your system, you are weaving in new habits into your life. And that becomes your new discipline. You don't need willpower anymore. Your body, your brain is in autopilot. And then you start doing the same thing with the exercise. So maybe at the weekend, you start 1 movement videos, 20 minutes, you put a yoga mat. You don't even need props to start doing it. And you start feeling good doing this. You notice you have less back pain. You have a sense of accomplishment. It's a little bit of a mindfulness routine. And then you think, actually, I might include one of these on a Wednesday. And slowly, over a month, over 2 months, you've actually completely turned your life around without having needed that much willpower. So slowly building in habits is the key to discipline. It's to not make it hard on yourself. Now, there's something else that I feel I must be honest with you about. It is the resistance of the body at the beginning. So I coach a small number of private clients, generally complex cases, and I can talk to you about so many case studies. But I'm going to give you one. This is a man in his 20s who suffers from ulcerative colitis, has been suffering from it for quite a few years, is on heavy medication, and the meds don't work anymore. So they stop him from having a huge degradation, but the doctors are already talking about surgery and removing the colon and so on. This is someone who would not have breakfast and would have lunch and dinner takeaway junk food. That's basically his lifestyle. And he was quite overweight as well. His body really resisted because his dopamine receptors were so hooked to this junk food that at the beginning, we did what I just described, which is you're going to order in and you're going to make better choices. And it's not, I didn't make him cook overnight. We went about it slowly. But the first 3 weeks, it's important to remember that it takes 21 days to build new habits. The first 3 weeks, his brain really resisted change. It was not easy. And I had to be a little bit of a disciplinarian with him. And I was like, listen, this is a matter of health. It's not a matter of looks. It's not a matter of taste. It's not, I said, we need to save your colon. I really would feel like a failure if you went through surgery right now and we didn't implement this, because I know it works. So I was a little tough with him and I said to him, your brain is going to resist it, but it's going to take 21 days. It has been shown that habits are literally pathways engraved in the brain. And those pathways of the old habits need to be erased for new ones to be engraved, and that process takes 21 days. If you find that your brain is fighting it, if you find discouraged, if you find that you want to give up, if you find that you're suddenly obsessing about an unhealthy habit you had, be gentle with yourself. Tell your brain that there's nothing off limits, that you will be able to do these things, but it's just a question of how much. The food will always be there. The bad habits or the less good habits will always be there for you to have if you want them. So in his case, I would say to him, this type of fried chicken, these types of burger, this type of takeaway will always be there for you. I'm not saying you can never have it again. It will always be there. But right now, your brain needs 21 days to adopt these new habits without feeling deprived. So you're going to have to bring in a little bit of willpower for the first 3 weeks. But our conscious brain is there to tell us that it is the subconscious brain that's pushing against. And this brings me to the last part of my work on Eat, Burn, Sleep, which is the whole mental wellness section. So if you only try to change your habits and bring in discipline only with the front of the brain, with the cortex, it's going to make it slightly challenging for you. It is super important to tap into our subconscious brain. And if you've watched the podcast I recorded with Nick Potter, he mentions that around 96% of what our brain is doing, we have no idea about. There's this whole side of the brain that's completely untapped. The subconscious brain, we know a little bit about. So do your morning and evening meditation, plug in your goals, visualize them, because what happens is it makes your habits get engraved more easily. That is the really secret tool for you to be able to succeed without feeling too much friction. So there are different things. First, weave in habits progressively so they become second nature, and this discipline is installed in your life without you having to exert willpower on a daily basis, day in, day out, all year long, because that is virtually impossible. The second thing is give yourself at least 21 days to rewire your habits. It is how long it takes. The third thing is remember that your brain is resistant to change. The brain hates change. So be patient with it. And when you feel that, push the willpower a little bit so you get past the 21-day mark. And the last thing is use the mental wellness routines that I share with you. Plug in your goals, do your gratitude, do your visualization so you can tap into neuroplasticity and make it easier for you to get into good habits. But now I can hear you. I can hear people say, yes, I used to be on the Eat, Burn, Sleep lifestyle and I've fallen off the wagon and I'm struggling right now and I can't get back on track. This happens to many people. We have good habits and then the less good habits come back. And same thing, they take around 21 days to really be there and rewrite the pathways. My advice is start small. Start thinking 3 days and then 7 days, then 2 weeks, then 21 days. So when you're at the beginning of the journey, it's important to keep the 21 days horizon in mind, but to have a long-term forecast. For example, in 1 year, in 6 months, my life will be completely different, so you're not pressuring yourself. But if you have been there already, it's in you. You just need to tap back into it and remove perfection. If it's not perfect, it doesn't matter. For example, you can start the reset again and allow yourself coffee from week 1. It's fine, because you've done it already. Your liver has been detoxified. Your gut flora is probably much better than before you did it the first time. And give yourself small goals. 3 days, 7 days, 14 days, 21 days. And I can assure you that after 21 days, most probably all that discipline will be back. But again, for everyone who's listening to this, the most important thing is to go about it in a non-perfectionist way. And I know that everything we see on social media these days, it's all about extreme and doing things hard. And I see people doing 75 hard. And if you fail, you need to start again. My method is at the exact opposite of that. It's about you tapping into your body, listening to your needs, nurturing yourself, focusing on sleep so you're set for success, because sleep controls our hormones, controls our mood, has a huge effect on hunger. For you to really nurture your body, make it easier for you. If you're someone who cooks, amazing. You can cook all the recipes. They're very easy. You can do batch cooking. But if you don't, it doesn't matter. Follow the eating out guide. Just make it easy for yourself to have better habits. And I always use the analogy of the wall. There is a wall with lots of bricks, and red bricks are inflammatory habits and green bricks are anti-inflammatory habits. As long as in the wall you start seeing more green than red, you are getting there. And the body remembers. All these good choices accumulate. If you fall off the wagon one day, it's not lost. The body has taken in all these good nutrients, has improved the gut flora, the inflammation reduced. It's not because one day you're going to have a Ben & Jerry's ice cream that all the work you've done is lost. It's not. You just get back on track gently. So discipline comes from weaving in small habits slowly without the body noticing. Because if you go too hard, you can come back straight to where you started. And giving it time is super important, because the longer you're doing something, the longer you will be able to stay doing that thing. And the body has a memory. It has a memory when it comes to weight. It has a memory when it comes to habits. It has a memory when it comes to exercise. So play the long game and play the cumulative effect of better habits, whether it is with your work, or it is with your health, or it is with your friendships or your social interactions, or whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. I hope you have found this talk, this masterclass, this podcast helpful. Make sure to share it with friends, to rate it. Thank you so much for listening and watching. I wish you all an amazing day. Thank you so much to all of you for listening to this podcast today. I hope you enjoyed it. It's always such a pleasure to talk about health, because it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Looking after our health is a daily thing, just like brushing our teeth. We've got to focus on it, we've got to do it right so we can live better and happier lives. For those of you who are not members of the platform yet, we have a discount code for all our podcast listeners. You can get 15% off the memberships. Just enter the code podcast15 at checkout. And make sure to read all the articles and all the free content we have on eatburnsleep.com to keep you motivated and informed and educated about living an anti-inflammatory lifestyle.